Okay, folks, let's check out the tower cam here in Alexandria. Sinlar broadcasting on Texas Street. Got a lot again to go over today. We've got a little spring stuff to talk about and some winter cold coming. Overcast sky. We have had some thunderstorms in the area for today. I heard thunder a few times and it got very little rain at my place, but I think it's not over yet. Natchitoches, let's go up in that direction. We're still chilly there in the upper 40s with a bit of an east-northeast breeze. It won't warm up much with that. Very slow warming trend overnight, and then it'll really kick in during the day tomorrow. And likewise, see a little reduced visibility, probably a little fog with that. And there's some thunderstorms not too far to the south and southwest of Natchitoches right now. So something for everyone possible in this forecast. And don't stretch that limit too far. We're not talking any snow or ice or anything like that. Not at least yet, unless we've got to get some moisture. We got two strong cold fronts coming though, and we got to get by severe Saturday before we can get to that. So that's going to take a little while to explain it. Let me go first into the radar where we continue to see an area of showers and a few thunderstorms moving northeastward across the area. And I'll kind of pull in a little bit. You can see some lightning. Some of the heavier storms are off to the west of us there. And northwest part of Vernon Parish, and I'll just go ahead and give you an hour's worth of motion here as we track this coming in out of East Texas. Again, moving toward Natchez. That's where you see a little bit of reduced visibility on the tower cam there. So these are the strongest things happening. You know, I wouldn't be surprised at least to see some elevated hail with some of that in the kind of pattern that we've got. Haven't heard of ground truth yet, but I can't completely rule out a little small hail in that particular area across portions of maybe South Sabine and into Natchitoches Parish. A little weaker action off toward the east right now. Let's go beyond this into the satellite and radar. We see cold air diving southward there through the Northlands into the Rockies and Plains. Little energy coming in from the southwest there out ahead of that. And little impulse. You see these little areas right here? There's a little piece of energy upstairs which is working, kind of rippling through the area this evening. It'll be out here overnight, and I look for a temporary lull in the action until it ramps back up during the day tomorrow. So futurecast for your Saturday morning. Try to get things done Saturday morning before we get that open warm sector and the line moving through. And you see, we can even Saturday morning rule out rain chances, but it'll be hit and miss, and that will be the case for a while Saturday. But by 5 o'clock, we start to see this line taking shape off to the northwest, coming into Sabine, Natchitoches, and Wynn parishes, and it will move fairly quickly to the southeast. By 8 o'clock, it's down in from near Oakdale into Alexandria, Jena, and Jonesville. And sometimes you hear us talk about this QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. You can see that this is a band, but it's not a real perfect band. It's not a real line. It's kind of broken. We got a little bit of action behind it, a little bit ahead of the front right over here. And so this is what we talk about. And with this, it means that there can be some rotation and circulations along that. And that's where some tornado potential can come from. Let me step through down into Avoyelles Parish by 9 o'clock, passing through Marksville. Bunkie by that time down into Allen Parish, and notice that quickly back behind it, the rain chances end and go into St. Landry there by 10 o'clock. So that's kind of the time frame that I'm looking at. Sunday we're okay, but much cooler that I'm looking at for the severe weather is that time frame. All right, let's get the rainfall pattern checked out for your Saturday only. 100%. I think everybody gets wet, even with that line kind of sweeping things out. AM and PM, we saw that on the model data. Don't be surprised if you see a shower or a thunderstorm in the morning, or you can see the line. Everybody's going to pretty much see something from the line. An inch will be common, but a couple of inches will be possible, I think, in some of the wettest areas. All right, explanation. Got to explain the severe weather threat and the cold air that we're going to get next week. First of all, here's the look at the upper level system that we're tracking. You can see just a big trough coming down like this. There's that northwesterly flow. There's a southwesterly flow ahead of it. This is Saturday PM as we will be feeling the impact of that energy right there. This is so important. I can't overstate that for three reasons. One, the moisture comes up from the Gulf of Mexico to respond to this trough. This trough, by the dynamics associated with it and the energy associated with it, creates fronts. A warm front, you'll feel that warm front tomorrow, folks. You're going to have at least a one-day case of spring fever tomorrow afternoon and during the day tomorrow before it turns colder again with a cold front on the back side of all this stuff coming in. And so that's one of the things that they do, and they provide the moisture, of course, to create the rain and thunderstorms. Notice also that we've got the polar vortex, which is kind of breaking down into one piece right there. There's another piece that's setting well off the eastern coast, Atlantic coast of Canada there. And notice that the rotation, the circulation is still moving up in that particular area. So the cold air is still kind of evolving and moving and sloshing around up in that particular area. So let me go beyond this. The system that comes through here Saturday races to the east coast 12 hours later or less. But we still have the breakdown of the polar vortex there. And notice the wind flow right here coming kind of out of the top of the world there. So this is beginning to tap with Arctic air and Canadian air kind of mixing, and then that will be diving into the United States. So I'll go one more frame here as we can kind of see that happening, taking shape right here. Again, here's the wind flow right here coming right out of the interior of Canada and the Arctic, and that's some of the coldest air that we can get down this way. And so that is what is happening. That's the explanation of the cold air. And then notice how this piece of the polar vortex just drops into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes right there by Thursday. And on the back side of it, the cold air is coming down at the surface behind it and aloft. And so what that means is that we're going to have two fronts. The second front is the biggest one. Here's your temperature pattern. Here's the first system Saturday that stirs up the severe weather. We'll get a pretty decent front with that. A freeze is possible for some of you Monday morning behind that. But the coldest one is still up to the north of us. You can still kind of see that circulation up across here with the polar vortex breaking into separate units there. And then look at this big area of colder air coming in right in through here. That's right on the back edge of that wind stream was here that I drew. All right, so notice too that this is moving more east as it gets into the United States instead of down this way. That will protect us from a historic freeze. But I think you'll agree when you see the 7-day numbers that it'll be cold enough. Right, Saturday, severe. We've got the level 3 risk here, level 2 risk elsewhere in central Louisiana. So not everyone in the Cenla area has the same risk associated with that. But that's the way it goes sometimes with forecasting. So the overall risk, I'm going to call it significant here. That's mainly for the level 3. The level 2 would be down here in the limited area and slight. Flooding, we're not going to, as you saw the rainfall that I'm expecting, I don't think flooding is going to be a big issue with that. Wind and tornadoes are the two things that are going to be most prominent, and can't rule out a hail threat as well. So that bar graph gives you kind of an idea of what to expect. So I have been able to get some more details that we have with the forecast. Saturday, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. looks like the window of time where you could get some severe weather. The most common mode would be wind, 15 to 30%, and all these percentages I'm giving within 25 miles of a point. And that point could be your home, your business, or your school or whatever. So that gives you, again, an idea of what's going on there. Tornado risk is 5 to 10%. Hail risk is 5%. And there's an enhanced tornado threat of EF2 plus tornadoes. So there's potential in the atmosphere for that. The open warm sector and the QLCS, those are the two patterns. Remember, the open warm sector will be what's happening in the late morning into the afternoon hours as the warm sector is open. There's no fronts in the area. We're east of the cold front, south of the warm front, and so it's an open sector. We could see a couple of supercells develop there. If we do, then we have all modes on tap for hazards. Hail risk could be a hail with that, tornado, or damaging wind with those open warm sector supercells. The QLCS, quasi-linear convective system, a line of storms, simply, that I showed you why we call it a QLCS, because it's quasi, not a perfect line, but there will be circulations and vortices within that, and so there could be a tornado and a damaging wind threat with that. Usually hail threat, unless you can get a supercell involved, hail threat's not too big with those. So monitor your weather sources for Saturday, because I think there are going to be warnings issued. All right, here we are with your 7-day numbers, kind of summing all of this up. The severe risk for Sunday, 100% chance of getting wet, 79 for a high, much warmer than it was today, folks. As I sit here, I think it's in the lower 50s doing this. The front will come in. The first, this is a decent front, not the real Arctic blast, 43 and 53, so much cooler on Sunday. And then Monday, we bottom out, 31 for an average. So some of you will see a freeze, some of you won't see a freeze. 55 for a high with bright sunshine on Monday. Things change up quickly on Tuesday out ahead of that next system and the big front coming in. 39 and 60 for Tuesday, but then we go into Wednesday as we see lows in the 30s and highs in the 40s. I'll keep a little rain chance going, especially maybe sometime in the morning or even into the afternoon a little bit. There's some indications that those temperatures could be reversed, that 45 could actually be early in the day, that 35 could be later in the day. But regardless of that, we have freezing temperatures, a hard freeze coming into the forecast there for Thursday and Friday mornings, and afternoon highs. We'll have trouble breaking forth. There'll be a mixture of 30s and 40s on Thursday with mostly sunny skies, partly cloudy on Friday with low to mid 40s expected there, folks. So yeah, don't have any mix or anything expected there, but Nick and I are kind of attuned to that. You can't ignore it with this kind of pattern, because there is a little weather system in the upper level flow that will come into the forecast there by Friday night or early next Saturday. So we'll have to see. Cold air won't completely be eroded out of here yet at that particular time. All right, that's enough. Sorry to keep you, but there's lots to talk about and a lot of important stuff. Thanks for your support for SunLaw Weather and so forth. Nick Mickels will be with you in the morning, and I should be able to do a stream in the evening tomorrow. Take care and have